Harry. I don't really have a question, it's more a comment. I don't know if anybody picked up that with your last answer and Grady's answer, there was a connection, but there's obviously a misconnection, because we're Gen X, and we're talking about communicating with our children. And Grady is, I don't even know what she is, but she's definitely not a Gen X, but she was talking about having the communication with her parents and the support. So from both angles, it seems that the want for communication is there, and the question should be, how do we now bridge that gap? Because I don't know if anybody else picked it up, but you actually both spoke about it from two different viewpoints.
So with that comment, I'll give it to you, Doc. Maybe you can just help us. I hope you heard. She's saying there's talking the same thing, but a disconnect.
When Pastor was talking about that, I've had my own challenges of the communication. I think as parents, I've got 5 kids, and there's this fear of mental health and killing themselves that we're dealing with. My son was cutting himself, wanting to die, writing us notes, and it only happened when he's done things wrong. Now we fear to approach a child now to call them out for what they do. So the communication is a bit hard. They want to be communicated to, but they don't want to communicate back to the parents. So I find that to be a gap where I'm not Generation X, but I'm close to X. Maybe I'm X. But it's that gap where now we were raised in a very harsh way, where it was a shambok, and we don't get told why you are even shambok, people move on. So we try to bridge that gap, but it's that thing now that even one pastor, I think at Reima said it, we are raising children that lead with manipulation. So in the same communication that is wanted, there is a high degree of manipulation. So how do we manage that?
Yeah. So with that, I really like your point, and you're right. So I'm raising 2 boys, and I decided at a very young age to engage my kids. And how I did it was, I said when anyone had an issue in the house or a question, they would tell everyone, they would sit at the dining table, and then you would pause your question. And then, all of you would have a chance to say what it is you want to say. So we've carried on that pattern. But I really agree, because my youngest son has tried it a couple of times, but I've had to learn to throw back what he's throwing at me. It's a point for another moment. So to Adetola, based on your answer when you were sharing earlier, you did say that when you're speaking to the kids at church, you became 14 or 16 and they approached you. So are we now, based on the communication disconnect, as parents, supposed to speak to them with manipulation, like you say, and turn to be 13, 14 every single time we want to approach a kid in the house? So what advice would you give us?
I'm laughing because I also have a manipulator. No, we don't have to be. What I was trying to say is, there's this thing of, when you say, I'm not your friend. It worked for our generation. We were raised with fear. But these days, you have to be their friend. Obviously, there are boundaries. Yes, there are boundaries. My daughter would tell me sometimes, can I call you baby girl? I'm like, yeah. And then she knows when I'm a tiger. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's that thing where you also need to understand what's going on out there. You cannot be ignorant. My mom used to do this thing when I was in varsity. Every night on Friday, around 10, she would call to pray. I didn't know what she was doing. She would call me, she would pray. But the truth is, when she calls, I was driving then. We were already in the car ready to go clubbing. So we'll do shh, Ami, Jesus. She didn't say anything. Another time, then she said to me, in the morning, you don't have to leave in the middle of the night. And now I'm scared now. She's not even supposed to know that I'm going clubbing, you know. And she said, do you know why I call every Friday night to pray? It's because I know that in university, there's the likelihood that you are going to parties. And so there's no need for you to hide it from me. When the party is over, recline your seat and sleep. Because if you don't hit someone, somebody can hit you. And it saved my life. I know a lot of people that came back in the middle of the night then with convoy, drunk driving, everything. But my mom did something. She made me trust her, which worked for her because I used to tell her a lot of secrets that I was not supposed to tell her. Sometimes I'm saying some stories and my cousin are like, but I will have forgotten myself. So it's not about being a 13-year-old or being a 7-year-old. It's knowing that you are talking to a 13-year-old. My son is 8 now, and I think kids mature early these days. You have girls starting their period at 10, you know. He's very confused about his feelings and all of that. And those were the things that our parents didn't take into cognizance. Is it hormonal? You know, this is a teenager now. What they say is she's acting out, she's a rebel. No, her body is going through changes that she doesn't understand, and she's trying to find out who she is now. So when you are talking to a 13-year-old, remember what you were like when you were 13. And I can say one thing for a fact, not every 13-year-old back then sitting here was actually a good girl. Thank you.
All right. I think when I say communication, communication can also be in 2 ways.
Absolutely.
You can actually be communicating with your children and be judging them. You can also be communicating with them and be connecting to them and be reasoning with them. I know they can always want to have whatever they want to manipulate you to have whatever they want. But I still feel that if you look at the story of the story for Eli in the Bible, he has 2 sons. It's a very spiritual. He has 2 sons. I want to believe that he trained his children, right? And there, but the children, he failed to connect with the children because the children always, children learn from what they see. You don't need to talk to children these days. If you tell your children that no, it's good to get married, what they see you doing with your mother, they will know whether to get married. You don't need to tell them. So a lot of time we say we are communicating with our children, but we are actually judging. A lot of times we say we are communicating with them, we are not connecting to them. So that's why they want to talk, but I want to tell you that, Mom, Daddy, you still want me to do this one? And like she said, there was always a boundary. Eli in the Bible, the spiritual leader refused, failed to connect with the boys. I know maybe you'll be trying to stop doing this, God doesn't like it, but there will be a time as a prayer you need to put your foot on the ground. I always tell her sometimes, she's engaged to get married. I always let her know there are some things in life, there are some values that cannot be changed. Don't change them. As a woman, as a man, there are some values in you that nobody can change. So those are the values that you should know that you have to hold. Whether you are rain is shining, sun is whatever is happening, there are some values that you have to hold. So communication is very key. Let's communicate with them and don't judge them. You can be communicating something about, you don't even do this. Communicating can actually give them some distance. If you don't communicate with your children, there is no way you can build legacy. At the end, whatever legacy you think you are thinking, they are going to be what you actually destroy this legacy. So don't let just judge them. Let's communicate with them and also connect with them. When it's time to say no, you must actually stand at the front and say, no, this one you can't do this one.
Randy?